everyone, I wanted to share with you a new junk journal that I've been working on. It's called A Gothic Fairytale. And let me tell you a little bit about this artist that is on the front cover, and then you'll see her work throughout the book. Her name is Lauren C. Waterworth, and I can't offer digitals with her work, but she does allow for printed versions of her work, so I jumped on that because I absolutely love her style, and you'll see kind of what I'm talking about as I work through the journal and show you. But I featured one of her lovely designs here on the front. This is sort of a Gothic queen and castle in the background. There's like a sort of a spooky village and some bats, roses, and skulls, and then I used some resin roses right here to embellish the cover, and I painted them with black gesso and then went ahead and used some Prima metallic wax to give them a green kind of ghoulish glow, and then I added this kind of crucifix looking cross that has these little rhinestones in it. So this serves just kind of as an added embellishment slash charm, and the journal itself is made from an old book. So the lace detail here has been dyed with alcohol inks and spray inks, and it's got these little danglies. And I believe this is considered Venice lace. I made sure to ask on Facebook to make sure I got the name right. It has a couple different names, but the one that I've seen the most pop up with these little sort of pom-pom details is the Venice lace. So let me show you inside the journal as we turn in here. So I used on the inside covers some Tim Holtz collage paper, and I used printables from my Masquerade kit on Etsy. I have this one. It's got collage papers, and you'll see them, a few of them throughout the journal, and so this is one of the first designs, and most of the pages have either been embellished in some way or inked along the edges. So lots of tuck spots. Got this little guy, says ghoulies. So this journal definitely has like a spooky theme, but I wanted it to have almost a whimsical theme too, because Halloween can go a lot of different directions. It can be super scary. I wanted this one to be also sort of friendly and playful, if that makes sense. So this is another of Elsie Waterworth's designs. So I made a little tag out of it, and you can write on the back. And here's just a little tuck spot that I put here, a little dog and owl. There's stamping throughout the journal. On this page, and you'll see here on the flip side, I used a rose stencil and just used a whole bunch of different Distress Oxide colors and made sort of a rose background, and then I used one of Tim Holtz's Halloween clippings. So this is sort of like his Chit Chat stickers, but it's a Halloween version. This one says Wonderful Secret. This is some folded Halloween paper to make kind of a little library envelope, and there's a tag inside there. And then you can see more of the stamping, or excuse me, stenciling right here, and then some of the pages have this edge punched, and I would recommend, if you use any type of edge punch like this, to open the journal from either the top or the bottom to turn the page that way, because if you start grabbing onto this, it's going to get tangled, and you might even start to pull it away because it gets really delicate when the paper is like lace. So I'll just go ahead and grab at the top here and turn that over. Here's a little embellishment. I put more of that same design that you see on the edge of this paper. I used some scrapbook paper and put this lace design on here, and then it has an Edgar Allan Poe raven theme with some of the poem here. More stenciling with Distress Oxides. And here's the flip side of that background with all the roses and a couple of different pieces of ephemera here. This was cut out with a Tim Holtz die that's a Halloween theme. It has sort of, I don't know what to call these exactly. They're not crosses exactly, but they're, let me just show you a little bit closer. And this comes as part of a 3-die set, and you'll see the other dies throughout, but this die cut, I felt like you could use it year-round, depending on which paper you use. So this has a spider web pattern, so obviously it works for Halloween, but I feel like this could work for a lot of different applications. So I use some, make sure that's in frame, some rub-ons, more stamping, and just kind of like blotches of distressing. This is another Tim Holtz die, so that's a little moon man, and I put him in, and I use more of the Prima metallic wax. There's tissue paper here that makes the wrinkles, so you can see, and I used sort of a bronze color, pink and purple, to make him, with a black gesso background, to make him sort of multicolored. And then this is another of Lauren Waterworth's pieces, so this is also a tag. This could work as a journaling spot, and so she just goes right there. And another little tuck spot, some ephemera with a spider background. Here's more of that Tim Holtz die I just showed you with that cool pattern. And then this Victorian girl, since it had a green background, it made me think of Halloween, and she has sort of almost a ghostly appearance, so I thought she would work in this journal. Here's more of the masquerade papers, so that's the collage papers and Washington Irving. I put sort of a Ichabod Crane, Headless Horseman theme throughout, so like the Sleepy Hollow theme. And this was my favorite page right here. I just love this image, and it has lots of different things going on, and same with the flip side here, lettering and stenciling and things like that, but it's part of the digital design. I didn't actually put that on top of the paper. This was printed out this way, and then I just edged it with ink. Here's some more black spiderweb paper. It's got Distress Oxide with water splotched on there to make it react, and more stenciling and stamping. And I don't know how well you can see this. This says Midnight Jerry from Edgar Allan Poe. More stamping. There's some embossing here, so like this little frame. And I use some, these are Gothic letter stamps, and I actually use black paint for these to give kind of a different effect. And then there's this little tag right here, like a poison label, and it's just tagged into, or stuck into this little tab. And this is some of the Tim Holtz Halloween paper. It is flocked, it has flocking, so it has sort of a velvety texture, and it's raised. I love this paper, and I edged it with ink, aged mahogany, and down here at the bottom you'll see this Gothic gate stamp I used, which I stamped and then embossed, so it has kind of a rough raised texture. And then there's this little arsenic label tucked into another of Lauren's tags with this little goofy skull and wings. Oops. So once again, this lace-edged paper I'm just going to grab from the bottom rather than trying to grab it from here. Here's more stenciling. I thought this sort of had a Gothic look, and then the crosses definitely go along with that Gothic theme. And there's some ephemera right here. This is yet another Tim Holtz die on some Halloween scrapbook paper. And then tucked in here is this cool sort of tarot card looking, but it's large. It's, I would guess, 3.5 by 5.5. And then if you flip it over, it has another design. And of course, these papers in the background have been coffee dyed. More of the Gothic gate right here that's embossed. And I did want to leave some space for journaling. I just did some stamping that I thought looked sort of distressed and a little bit spooky, you know, in this color. And then more stamping. This frame is also embossed, so I'm trying to get you to see the copper there, and then just a little beware stamp. So more stenciling, stamping. This is another of Lauren's beautiful embellishments right here. I went ahead and edged it with ink. Another ticket. And I don't know how well you can see that this has also been stenciled on. So it's got this sort of distressed background with bugs and leaves, and then I use some green distress oxide. I want to say that's peeled paint. And here's some more of the Masquerade papers from my digital kit. And this has been edged with lots of distress stain. There's this little belly band / tuck spot. I embossed these and then used some of the Prima metallic wax on top to make the raised part pop out. Another sort of ghostly little girl on a tag. So right here is one of the little ATCs. It has a black background. It's an artist trading card, and then it has some stamping around the edges in distress oxide. Here's another little Gothic rub-on, and I use the packaging from those rub-ons right here. Just give you a little bit closer view. So it has Victorian women, fortune teller theme. And here's the queen that you saw on the front cover. So I used this as a tab, and then another ATC. And then some writing space right here. Some stamping and stenciling. This is some of the Coordinations cardstock that you can sand after you've embossed it and then add color to. And this is another of those like tarot type cards, large cards with the background. And this is a large card tag that I made with the same set of Gothic letters that are paint stamped on, and then this little sort of cathedral tuck spot, little iodine ephemera, little tuck spot right here, and then there's some embossing, this little damask stamp right here. I embossed that in silver. And then of course there's plenty of journaling space on the back of the journal tag. And then at the bottom here, I use that same Gothic gate stencil and use different colors, some embossing. And I wanted to give it kind of a spooky, you know, colors, green, purple, bronze. There's this black glittery embossing powder and silver. Here's another one of the embossed tuck spots with the Prima metallic waxes, and another of Lauren's designs that can act as a journaling spot with a tiny tag right there. And this little stamp has also been embossed. This is another of the Tim Holtz die designs. Let me try to put something dark behind it so you can kind of see This is another one that I think would work for different themes depending on what type of paper you use. So really like that design of that die. And then another large kind of fortune teller card. Here's another one from that die set. This has skull and crossbones with a spiderweb background, a little journaling card that's been cut into ATC size, some stamping here at the top, and then I turned this large tag into sort of a frame and a tuck spot and then sealed down another of her images. And this is another ATC with some Gothic type stamping on it in distress oxide. And now we're getting towards the end here. So here's some more of that Halloween die with another journaling card, a little poison label. This is Lauren's wing that's been edged with ink and a poison ephemera. And then just some stamping on top. Another rub-on right here. This is a clock with some roses around it. And this is that same moon die that's used as a tuck spot with another ATC. And this rub-on just has some sort of Gothic looking roses with like a fall background, fall foliage, and more of the spider background paper, ATC and tuck spot. And the end, this is more Tim Holtz Halloween mixed media collage paper, and this is the backside of one of the Masquerade designs. So that is the Gothic Fairytale journal. It's going to be going up for sale right now, and I will leave a link to both my website and Etsy where you can take a look at this journal, and I will have pictures up. So anyways, you guys, happy early Halloween. I hope you're having a great crafty day wherever you're at, and I will speak with you very soon. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.